So, my name is Kyle Railton. Around Tough Mudder, they call me Coach Theodore Mudhoney. My friends all call me Coach. You guys can be my friend now. See how simple that was? How I ended up here is, I'm an athlete, an outdoorsman, an adventurer. I race off-road motorcycles. I love Tough Mudder. Basically, all things that have to do with activity. I dig it. And with that comes a giant love for snacks. In fact, you should take a look underneath my bed, and not in like a weird way, but I have three giant folding or rolling containers full of snacks. And I'll show you a photograph later if you want to. But what I look for to put in that is something that's easy to grab, something that tastes good, and ultimately is real food, right? And I need something quick. I'm a member of Search and Rescue as well, so I need to shove snacks in my packet and be ready to go. So I truly believe that I am your customer. Now, how did I end up here through the Tough Mudder thing? I ran my first Tough Mudder in 2010, which was the second Tough Mudder ever. And then in 2013, Tough Mudder approached a gym where I'm a trainer at, and they asked for someone to come out and warm people up, warm up their athletes, do some like calisthenics and whatnot. And I had this weird idea, so I showed up in a pair of really small shorts. I told people the importance of finding their spirit animals, and I said they should all get supple hips. And I believed in myself. It was this weird idea. I went out there, and it took a year for Tough Mudder to get back to me. I emailed them and whatnot. I was like, hey, this is going to really work. Trust me. But the moral of the story, with some hard work and a little bit of pavement pounding, I now have the best job on the planet. I've run over 25 Tough Mudders. I've done the world's toughest Mudder 3 times, which is our 24-hour event. I've done the 8-hour tougher Mudder twice now. And then I also have this irreverent video series to get people off the couch into a Tough Mudder. And once you get to the Tough Mudder, I'm one of the guys that gets you excited, fired up, tells you to find your spirit animal and whatnot, sends you on your way. In that time, I've seen a lot of different companies come along and try to capitalize on the nutrition needs of our athletes, from chemically loaded pre-workout drinks to protein bars that taste, like cardboard at best, or just have like a bunch of chemicals that honestly, I don't believe are made for human consumption. So when I heard about Jack Lynks coming, I got excited, honestly excited. I was like, well, finally, there's a company that's going to raise the stakes in how we fuel our athletes. We ask a ton out of our participants. We tell them, that they're going to have to push their bodies mentally and physically to their limits and beyond. And now that you guys are coming here to help fuel that fire. I got an email with some information about Jack Lynks and about your team, and there was an acronym for FIRE. And I started thinking, I have this thought when I talk to people, when I train them or get them ready for Tough Mudder. I believe that every human being has a fire, right? A fire inside of them, however you want to look at that. And some of you are like, I don't have a fire. I believe that you do, and you might not feel it right now. Maybe it's just like this ember. It's like lying dormant inside of you, and it's up to you to figure out what it is that ignites that flame. And that flame could be signing up for a Tough Mudder, right? You sign up, you put it on the calendar, and that flame ignites. Now, I don't suggest that you just run off and sign up and then the next day go and run a Tough Mudder. I'm not saying that you can't, but your experience is going to be different. You might put that flame out. You're going to get done with that 10 to 12 miles. You got done, you're like, fitness is really not for me. So you got this flame going, right? This little fire. You sign up for a Tough Mudder, and then you're like, well, how am I going to get there? I gotta nurture this flame. I gotta build it. I put a little stick on it, right? Maybe that's walking around your block, right? And the next day you put another stick on it. You walk around the block 2 times and do 5 push-ups or whatever. See where I'm going? You keep building the flame. Then you go for a mile run or a 2-mile run. The flame gets bigger. And then, I'm going to run 5 miles. I'm going to do 25 push-ups and 30 squats. That's a bigger stick. And you get to the Tough Mudder, that's your log. You put this log on the flame is getting hotter and hotter and hotter. You can just keep building on it, and then you're like, I did a Tough Mudder. Next weekend or next time I'm gonna run 2. My flame is bigger. Maybe I'll run the 8-hour toughest Mudder. My flame is bigger. Now you're engulfing trees and whatnot. You got this forest fire inside of you. It's unstoppable. And I think each and every one of us could have that flame. You know the people that you're at work, it's Friday night, and you're like, hey, let's go have a drink. And they're like, actually, I have to go run. And you're like, I kind of hate you. They annoy you a little bit, but part of you wants to be that person as well, right? You're like, you hate them, but you like kind of look up to them, you're jealous. Like, why? How do you have to run? That's great, because they got a fire and they have to feed it. And I think that each and every person, I think that fire could be anything. It could be from, becoming a better athlete or being a better father. Or that fire could be being a better husband or wife. Like maybe, hey, each day I'm going to start off by kissing my wife before she leaves. And then I'm going to kiss my wife and do the dishes. You know that, right? You could build that flame up, right? It doesn't have to just be athletics. It could be anything. How many of you have built a fire, a campfire? Like, right? You share hands, right? So you build it up, it's going, it's burning. You can throw almost anything in there. But if you walk away and you stop feeding that flame, what happens? It slowly dies down, right? Or if you go to bed for the night and your campfire completely dies, you come back the next morning and there's nothing there. But you raise your hand over where it once was, and you can feel that warmth, that ember. And that's where I think a lot of people are, that ember is still inside of them. And you have to figure out what it is that reignites that flame. And I can think of that, too, as a job, right? It can be anything. Like when you first get a job, and you go home and you're like, honey, I just got this new job. I'm selling beef jerky. It's freaking awesome. There's all these amazing opportunities. I love it. You get up 5 minutes before your alarm goes off. You're making coffee, and then your alarm goes off. You're like, I'm excited. I'm already going to work. You got that flame, right? And you feed it and feed it and feed it. But later on, that flame could slowly die away. And then your alarm goes off. You hit snooze 3 times. You make your lunch or whatever. You walk to work, and you're just like, right? That flame is gone. It's just that ember. What does it take to reignite that flame? Maybe it's a new opportunity, maybe a new outlook, a new technique to sell, a new customer. And that's where we're excited to join with you guys, to partner with you, Tough Mudder, because you're raising the stakes on how we fuel our athletes, and hopefully we're the catalyst in reigniting that flame in you. So I'm really excited, honestly, about this whole scenario. I hope to see you guys out on a Tough Mudder course in the future. If you want to talk about how to get you out there, please let me know. If you want a photograph of under my bed, I'll show it to you. Thank you guys very much, and have a good afternoon.